Hi, my name is Azian. I'm from Singapore. Currently, I'm in Cairo and I've joined with a Malaysian delegation for Global March to Gaza. My own country doesn't have its own delegation, so this is why I'm here with the awesome Malaysian team. It has been such a great experience meeting these people, learning about their experience, learning about what they are doing with the Palestinian cause. It really amazes me. So I'm very grateful to be part of the team here. My experience with what we went through on 13th of June with the march was quite difficult. I mean, I was traveling with two other Malaysians. The three of us traveled together, three females, and we seemed to be able to get through the first checkpoint, Ismailia, but everyone was sort of stopped and got their passport confiscated on the second checkpoint. We were there for hours, maybe 4 or 5 hours. We didn't have a clear understanding of why our passport was taken, when will it be released, what are they going to do to us. So there was many hours of confusion and not being able to understand what we can do and what we cannot do next. So it was just a waiting game. But after a while, I understand that they were collecting our passport just to check our background and check our information against the country's embassy. After they released our passport, we were being set on this area like a square, and we were being kettled with I guess the military or the authorities, and we were there for hours. I think after a few hours of sitting in the protest, we were at the back of the square, me and two other Malaysian team members. We couldn't really see what was going on in the front, but we saw a few stuff kicked off and people were being physical and people were being aggressive. And I think someone got sprayed with something in the end. There was a bit of scuffle that happened every now and then, and things kick off in different parts of the group or the crowd. And because I was seated down, I couldn't really see what was happening in the front. So when I stood up, I saw local civilians in jubah and face covering were being very aggressive with people. They were punching seated protesters. They were trying to drag them off. And another part of the whole sit-in, there was another thing that kicked off on the other side of the crowd as well, and I saw that they were whipping people, and that's when some of the sort of protesters tried to grab the whip or something, and there was another scuffle. So it was quite an experience. I think our peaceful protest was met with aggression, and I feel like these aggressors that were trying to invoke a reaction from the crowd so that maybe the authorities could justify the violence against us was just barbaric. Yeah, so that was my experience. There was a whole other kerfuffle with getting boarded into a bus to be sent back to Cairo. Well, the reason why I joined this march is I feel like it has been decades. I sent donations, I boycott stuff, but it still didn't feel enough. So when this march came about, I was without hesitation. I just wanted to join because it was something that I could do. And I've spoke to other protesters when we were at the checkpoint about their reason for being here. I spoke to a French lady and she said the exact same thing. People are just getting frustrated with things that's happening and it hasn't stopped. We donate, we pray, we protest, but it just didn't feel enough. So that's why we are all here physically in Cairo to show support. I don't know. I mean, have you been living under a rock? I really don't know what to say to the people who is unaware of what's going on. I really don't, but maybe educate yourself in what has happened to the Palestinian people, what has happened in the last 75 years, and you sort of would understand why they are behaving the way they are. I guess my message to people is just be curious. Don't believe everything you hear in the media about Gaza and about the Palestinian people. Have an understanding of what has happened before. I guess just have humanity. If pictures and videos of children getting bombed and children getting maimed is not reason enough for you to feel something about it, then I don't know what else to say. You don't have to be from this religion. You can be any religion. You can be Jew, you can be Christian, you can be Muslim. It doesn't really matter. It's all about human lives. So yeah.